Duchess Sophie breaks down in tears after meeting rape victims in Africa. Duchess Sophie could not hold back her tears after meeting women who had been raped in exchange for food and water in war-torn Sudan. Hello kings and queens, please make sure to subscribe and click the notifications bell icon so you don't miss any premium updates about the British royal family. The Duchess of Edinburgh met refugees on the border of war-torn Sudan and broke down after hearing horrific stories of the sexual violence women faced there. Sophie Wessex cried after hearing the devastating stories of women who have suffered sexual violence and rape at the hands of soldiers who use this as a terror tactic in a brutal war. To escape the atrocities, the women fled to neighboring Chad, where Sophie spoke to them. She embraced 5 of the survivors after they detailed how they were raped in exchange for food and water and revealed that their daughters had gone through similar horrific experiences. People are forced to exchange food and water for sex and rape, she said. This is violence that is activated through conflict. It is used as a bargaining tool. These women have no choice but to leave. Even then, they are lucky if some of them can escape because some of the villages and towns they came from cannot leave their homes anymore. If they leave their homes, they will be killed. She added, what they do to the children is... I can't even use words. The Duchess, who has 2 children, Lady Louise Windsor, 20, and James, 16, Earl of Wessex with her husband, the Duke of Edinburgh, Edward, admitted she was very shaken after hearing about the women's experiences, which she described as devastating. I don't even dare to describe to you what they were doing to the children, she said with tears in her eyes. It's not just about sexual violence, which is horrific because they have to exchange food and water for sex. If they don't, they kill them. These women have no choice but to leave. Even then they are lucky. If they can escape, because some of the villages and towns they came from, they won't even be able to leave their homes anymore. If they leave their homes, they will be killed. It's heartbreaking. You have no idea what they've been through, she told The Sun after meeting a silent girl on the Sudanese border. That little girl was so silent and it worried me because of what I had just heard. It really worried me. Because I didn't share with you some of what they told me there, which is why I was so shaky when I came in. The posts, to be honest with you, but what they do to kids is... I can't even use words, so I can only assume they're kids. That little girl that we were talking to, and now that I've talked to them, the women, I'm concerned about what she experienced or what she witnessed. Because what they all witnessed is complete atrocity. One of the 5 women Sophie spoke to said she saw bodies piled like a wall as her family fled Eugenie, a city that witnessed some of the war's worst atrocities. The refugee camp the Duchess visited is home to a staggering 230,000 people, the same as the Portsmouth camp, and is located at a border crossing that facilitates the movement of vital aid for those in the midst of war. However, it may be closed by the Sudanese government next month because it believes weapons are being smuggled through it to the enemy rapid support forces. One of the women Sophie met later said she had fled the city of Eugenie in the West Darfur region of Sudan after thousands of people were killed within days. The woman said her family was threatened with death and rape if they left their home, while her teenage son and brothers were among the men arrested and transferred. She described seeing bodies piled up in the street like a wall. After arriving in the Chadian capital, N'Djamena, on Saturday, Sophie boarded an early morning flight on Sunday to Farshana on the other side of the country. Then a military escort convoy took her another hour and a half by car across rugged terrain to Ardri, where more than 220,000 refugees, most of them women and children, live in a camp after fleeing following conflict between Sudanese armed forces and the paramilitary rapid support forces that broke out in April 2023. Accompanied by representatives of the charity UNICEF, Sophie visited the border crossing, where she heard between 400 and 1,000 people crossing daily. The king received one group after it arrived from Sudan on a horse and cart. With the help of translators, the Duchess spoke to the 2 women who had traveled 50 to 60 kilometers with their children, including a baby and a toddler, and asked them if they knew they would be provided with food and shelter after crossing into Chad. On a visit to the border registration center, she knelt down to talk to a mother of 5, who had a toddler on her lap and an infant strapped to her back, and told her she had been traveling for 10 days. Before arrival,